All right, story time. So first of all, we're going to acknowledge that I finally got a pop filter and extension rod, so I no longer have to bend all the way fucking down to talk. All right, so story time. You want to hear about the time I got called the N-word at a wedding? Oh my God.
Here we go!
Okay, so I was working this wedding in New Jersey with great friends of mine, Kevin, Mike, and Tiffany. I had worked with Tiffany and Mike once before, but like we were just kind of getting to know each other. And when you work with different photographers each and every wedding, it's hard to build up a relationship until you like run into them again. This will be important. So the wedding is kind of going smoothly for the most part. I'm not really feeling any hesitancy from the bride. I'm not really feeling any like aggression from anybody all day. And when you have one of those days, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You love that shit. But then it got weird. So the first instance of like weirdness that I was experiencing was I was talking to Kevin. We were setting up for the reception and we were there like 2 hours earlier. And the bartender was also talking like to Mike. So when we were trying to like, I don't know, make a joke or something, I think he was just making a joke when he said, so the bartender says to us, "Hey guys, this is a professional venue. Try to act more like it." So I'm like, all right, whatever. I laughed. It was kind of just like a passerby. I didn't talk to him for the rest of the night. But like something about that told me, oh, shit's about to like get uneasy.
Do you see me fucking laughing, my nigga?
So the guests start coming in. And I'm sorry, I messed up a part of the story already. So the reception and the wedding are happening, I think, close to, if not in the same place. I might be mixing up my stories, but it doesn't. No, it wasn't the same place. I remember. It wasn't the same fucking place. So after the wedding, as people are filtering it into the reception, I'm trying to get a couple shots of the bride. I'm trying to work with photographer, just get some extra shots because I'm the second shooter that day. And this lady like bumps me. It's kind of older lady. I would say she was in her 50s, 60s. And I didn't think anything of it until like I turned around and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And she said, well, I can't say the sentence because I'll get fucking demonetized, but she said, "N-words like you should be sorry." I was like, yo.
Oh, whoa. Beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I was like, hey, yo, hold up. Wait, what? So like my mind had snapped into this mode of like, oh shit, I can't believe it. There goes the whole day. Because I have to bring this up. I have to say it to somebody. I have to do something. I have to like approach this situation with like some type of nuance in order for me to feel better about the fact that I am stuck here and I have to work. You know, if it were a job where it were like, I don't know, my own, or maybe even just like something where I'd like finished half the job or whatever. If I wasn't so far away from home, I would have just dipped, but I wasn't going to do that to my partner. I wasn't going to do that to the bride. I wasn't going to do that to the groom, whatever. So I'm sitting down with Mike and Tiffany and we're eating and we're just talking, just relaxing, whatever. And I bring it up to them. Yo, bless their souls. I told them, and yo, like,
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
Tiffany's face went red. Like, her face went red, and Mike's eyes was just like, are you serious? And, you know, this story has a great conclusion. They both kept quiet about it because I kept telling them, don't bring it up, don't like mention it, whatever. But like we really got into a conversation about like racial stuff and how badly that affected them and how badly they wanted to fight against that. And it really showed me that, you know, there are decent people out there and that, you know, that situation could have ended up a lot different if like I brought that up to like the bride or something and she started calling people out or whatever. I just thought about all the ramifications of even mentioning it out loud. So what's crazy about this story and why I wanted to make a video about it is because I feel like when it comes to racial epithets like that, when it comes to moments where like you're clearly being judged for the color of your skin and nothing else, we got to have a conversation about what type of lead that is. A lot of people like to say, oh, that's just a word. That's just this. That's just that. That's just, that's, you shouldn't let words affect you.
Back the fuck up.
But it's like, I want you to really put yourself in my shoes. I'm working a wedding, prestigious event. My name's on the line. One bad review, and a bunch of brides start posting your name everywhere. Oh, this happened at the wedding, and he blew up about it. He started screaming this, blah, blah, blah. She had the ability to say something like that to me, knowing that nothing was going to happen. I want you to think about just the fact that it's just a word, but the power behind that word, just for the sake of saying it in that tone, in that way, or just even in general, gave her an unsurmounting amount of social power over me, and there's nothing I could do about it. And I think back on like all the times I've heard that word, all the times I've dealt with racism, and that one moment really stuck out to me because it's like, you could say that on the street and I might pop on you.
Lucky you're still breathing!
But like, you can pick and choose when you want to exude that amount of, let's call it what it is, racism. And that's just a pass you get. And, I could branch out into a bunch of things off this. I thought about white privilege. And it's not just, the ability to not have to be judged for the color of your skin, but it's the ability for you to not be judged immediately for doing something. You know how hard it would be for me to prove that she said that? Like, I could have just made that up. She can say that. I could have just made that up. I'm just trying to start drama because I'm one of those, I don't know. Well, this was before the whole identity of the radical left ever existed. But this could have been a whole thing about like, plausible deniability. Who's gonna really believe this sweet little white lady said something like that gross or that mean?
Please, just give us a break. Please just give us a break.
While I, on the other hand, have to sit there the entire fucking day with that on the top of my head and wonder, like, the next time somebody says that to me, am I going to pop on them? Am I going to let it go? And that set me off in such a different direction because it's like I kept seeing that lady. I kept seeing the people around me. And it's like, how many of these people probably feel the same way?
Now everybody's ganging up against me. For what? What the fuck did I do?
Now I don't feel comfortable in that space. But it goes further than that. Because now I don't feel comfortable in any space where I might even recognize somebody that looks like her. Because I know the possibility is out there. So in theory, this could turn me into a white-hating black man. Just because I can't give you the benefit of the doubt. Because all I ever do in my life is give people the benefit of the doubt, and it happens. Now, obviously, we can make small of all the moments in my personal life and say, okay, these are rare occurrences. It's not like it's happening on a daily, but it's happening in general. So it really bothers me when people say, oh, racism doesn't exist or we shouldn't see color or whatever, because it's like people out there still do. And for some reason right now we're at a time where like people can't wrap their heads around that. You hear people talk about racism on a scale, and we're dealing with that across the nation now. And it's like, this is one of those moments where I have to sit there and say, is money worth that? Is my pride worth that? Is my dignity worth that? What do I get for calling this person out on it? I might have got a lot out of it. I might have, it could have turned a different way. Bride could have been like, you're so brave for doing that. Here's an extra, $200 tip, or whatever. Or we'll blast your name out so that way you don't ever have to feel like that's going to happen again. We'll make sure you get jobs, this, that, and the other. But that gamble, that toss up of walking out of my house every day thinking, is this going to happen again? Is the existence of how it feels to be a black man in America. Now, I could say black person in America because this is obviously all about all of us, but we're making it personal because I don't speak on other people's events, happenings, episodes, whatever you want to call it. There's a word in my head. I can't fucking think about it right now. But then then it got worse. Then it got worse. There was another instance where now it really got minute. Oh boy. Okay, got the whole story in my head now. Yo, so we pulled up to another New Jersey wedding, or that might be false too. We drove pretty far out. We might have been up in Connecticut somewhere. But we went out of state, out of New York, and we get to the wedding and everything's fine for the first hour. I'm with the groom, mad cool people. I make like one or two jokes and these guys are like, yo, this guy's the life of the party. I'm thinking yet again, and I'm gonna keep repeating this, nothing can go wrong this day. So we're going out, we shoot with the bride and the groom, we're getting the first look shots, we're getting this and that. And one of the aides comes up to me and is like, yo, tuck in your shirt.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
So the photographers and Kevin all stare at me because they're all having untucked shirts. And yo, so oh my God, because it just gets bad. So they're all looking at me like, I don't understand what that's about. And the aide comes back a second later and is like, I'm sorry to have to bring that up to you. I'm not trying to cause any problems. It's just the father of the bride thinks it looks unprofessional if you're not, with your shirt tucked or whatever. I'm sitting there like, that doesn't make really any sense considering the people around me like have the same thing. So I'm wondering why I'm getting singled out. So me and Kevin start talking a little bit later and he's like, you don't think that had anything to do with like who you are? And I'm like, yo, flashback to that wedding. Oh my Lord, did this not stop? So about maybe an hour later, aide comes back up to me. Mind you, at this point, I'm standing near both parties. So both the groom's party and the bride's party, because we're all doing the bridesmaid shots, during the groomsmen shots, the whole big shebang. She come up to me after we take them from there out to the barn, and she's like, you gotta wear a jacket, like a suit jacket. Now, for anybody who know me, you know I'm always popping with the jacket, so you wondering why I didn't bring it today. It was hot. It was summer. It was like, had to have been 70, 80, 85 degrees. Whew. So she says it's very important that you wear a jacket because the father of the bride is demanding it. Now, apparently the father of the bride has a lot of money, a lot of resources, whatever, and like that venue was like one of the top rated wedding venues, so they weren't trying to fumble that bag at all. Here's the problem. The other photographer, and Kevin both didn't have jackets. All three of them didn't have jackets. So now the photographer is getting upset. And I like this guy. Really big, tall guy, like, slender, but still lumberjack. Oh boy, all of them staring like, what is going on right now? Why is he being asked to like do this and do that? What's crazy to me is after that, we all go back into those rooms where we had all the brides and groomsmen for the shots at. And that father never stops grilling me as I'm standing there. I get a cup of coffee, pour myself, and I remember sitting back in the chair because there was only one chair in the hallway before the two rooms. And there's all glass panels and everything around. And he's just staring at me. And now my mind is in overload. Because I can't believe that this is happening again. But he never outwardly said anything. It was just that. Wear a jacket, tuck in your, all this, like, and there were more to it. There's more things that he was asking for, but I don't want to go over that because those two things were the most important things. So as I'm walking up, now that we're going further and further into the day, all of them are all aware that this has to be something to do with race because he's not requiring anyone else for any of the things that he's asked of me. Whatever. We get into the reception hall and the photographer pulls me back and we all start talking about it. And he's like, how are you going to deal with this? The aide. While we're talking about that, the aide comes through. So I look at her and I say, can I ask you a question? This wouldn't happen to have anything to do with, like, you know, the thing. And she kind of like says, yeah, I'm sorry. So in my head, I just thought,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
and what's crazy about that, the reaction is that all of them coddled that behavior. Like, that amount of money would allow him to go on that type of trope to just me. Like, it's obvious. He's not hiding it. Everyone in that venue that's working is aware of this and they can't stop it. So again, I feel powerless. I feel useless. I feel like absolute garbage. So we get into the reception and I'm setting up the lights. I set up the lights. I need you to keep that in mind. Maybe like 5 minutes into the reception, because everybody's gonna start coming in and whatever, and then they're gonna introduce the bride and groom. He asked for the lights to be shut off. Now we're confused because we need those lights to get the shots. Bride knows it, groom knows it, everybody knows it. He's like, nah, I don't want the lights. I don't want the lights. I don't want the lights. The footage is gonna come out dark. Everybody's gonna be pissed off. I don't want the lights. Talk to the bride. She's like, have the lights. I don't want the lights. So I leave the room. I leave the room because I'm like, I don't want it to say, maybe he's because he doesn't want it to be distracting. Maybe it's blinding. Maybe he just wants the party to be like smooth or whatever.
I think we should have that conversation.
But once I leave, Kevin goes and turns on the lights and it's fine. No complaints, no nothing. So now I'm really pissed off. Really, really pissed off. I'm so pissed off that I asked, so the jacket, let's go back to the jacket. So at the end of the wedding, I'm like, should I return this or should I just like take it? Because who like, are you gonna be mad like if I like get something out of how badly I was treated? And I know I glossed over a lot of shit, but just put it to you this way. He avoided any type of contact with me, distance with me. Anytime I got nearer to the group, he would like turn over and look at me and then kind of like ignore me or walk away from me. Like, even if I wasn't, like, I didn't have to communicate with him at all that day. So if I would walk near him while we were all doing any type of shots, he'd walk away. So now my question is, how am I supposed to trust any person in a position of power to not have that as their background? If at a wedding, supposed to be the day of love, admiration, joy, excitement, and happiness, at a wedding, that can happen multiple times.
If you know how I feel, why would you say that? Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation. Like, you know I'm not happy. You know I tried.
So now you're asking me to take all of these instances and say, don't bottle them up, don't boil them over, just, you know, let it be, let it simmer and just get over it. But that is a common occurrence. So now this is the 5th time in the span of what? A year in which something like that has happened. From little tiny microaggressions that are clearly stemming from a certain point to outward straight racism.
I mean, it's just appalling. It sickens me. I woke up this morning, I was so in a rage about what they are doing.
So what I want to leave you with today is this message. Stop thinking about racism as an extreme. Racism towards black people isn't just the KKK hanging people and like lynching them in the street. Racism is being able to hold that position of power over somebody even by just not doing anything but the bare little. I can get him to do that because I know he won't speak out on it. I can get him to act this way because I know what I'm saying is infuriating and I can probably just deny it later. I can act like that because I have money and who is he to even challenge me? That's crazy. And it's crazy because like I'll sit there on a live stream and say like all this joyous shit and all that plays in my head. All that plays in my head. I think about streaming on Twitch. I think about live streaming on Facebook. I think about all the poetry I've put out and everything. And every single time. You want some truth? Because I know, like, we're new here. You want some truth? Every time I've put out anything over the past 14 years of my career, I've always thought, if I were white, this would be received better. And you can't fucking tell me any different. Than ever, stronger than ever. Follow me on Twitch. I'm the paradigm shift. You know what to do. You know what to do.
I'm a firm believer in karma. And I think this situation was attracted into my life as a huge learning lesson for me to grow and expand as a spiritual human being. I want to lead a huge charity organization. I want to lead a country one day, for all I know.